Know Your Candidate. Presented by Portland is Possible, broadcasted by XRAY FM. In this segment, we offer a brief background on the visionary candidates that are proudly standing and running for the acclaimed Portland Area City Council. For now, we have a candidate of District 2 that incorporates St. John's, Kenton, Hayden Island, Mississippi, and Alberta neighborhoods.
My name is Sam Sachs, and I am running for City Council in District 2.
The city center from inner southeast to inner southwest and the Albina district to south waterfront is the economic engine, not just for Portland, but for the state as a whole. In particular, taxes from this area support critical services statewide. How should the city council engage in keeping this engine running?
I think we need to change the narrative that currently is out there about Portland not being safe, not being a destination place. We need to change the narrative. We need to market Portland better. We need to be creative. There are issues that we have in the city of Portland, but I think we need to change the narrative and embrace how wonderful Portland is and those things that we have in the areas that you mentioned. And we have to be creative and think about other things. I wasn't initially a supporter of baseball, but maybe bringing baseball to Portland can be a revenue generator, and it gets people downtown. I also think we need to address the safety issue. A lot of people don't feel safe going downtown or to those areas, so we have to address that. And we have to lead, everything we do, you'll hear me say, is we have to lead with an equity lens. How is it impacting communities of color, marginalized communities in Portland, and how can we lift up those voices and create a safe environment where people want to come to Portland and spend money and have fun and see how beautiful and wonderful Portland is and can be. So that's what I think needs to happen moving forward.
What is most essential for the arts and creative community to thrive in Portland?
We just got to keep doing what we're doing. I mean, Portland is so, with this, Snitzer, we have Portland Art Museum, we have so many talented artists, musicians, authors, so many people in our community. We just need to continue to lift them up. And again, it all comes back to safety. We have to create safe spaces for people, and we have to market those wonderful things that we have in the community, the Blues Fest, the art shows, all the things that we have. And I also believe we have to lead with an equity lens and embrace and engage with youth, especially youth of color in our community. And we have to engage with people that have kind of been left out or pushed aside, and make sure that we're addressing the culture and the art that is in our city and marketing it in a better way, in my opinion.
What hazards do you foresee in the city's future that we can start planning for now?
I think the current situation, the inaction, the inability for leaders to work collaboratively together and actually put visions and ideas into action, and learning from our past mistakes. You know, for example, last year there was a freeze in Portland and we didn't meet the threshold to open warming shelters, but to me that's a no-brainer. We need to do it anyway, so we have to be able to move on the fly and we have to be able to adjust. We have to know that what the narrative is right now, that Portland is not a welcoming place for some people. We have to address the safety issue, and we have to make it a safe and livable space. And we have to market Portland, because it's a beautiful place to be and live and to recreate and to visit. And we can get started on really prioritizing that. And again, lifting up voices of color in everything we do, I think that's the most important thing moving forward, is learning from the mistakes that have happened in the last 4 years and not repeating them, and having a positive attitude. But we have to work together. We have to be collaborative. There's going to be 12 city commissioners instead of 5, and we have to learn to work together, not just with ourselves, but with the city, county, and state agencies.
What in your background demonstrates how you approach implementing visionary ideas?
I've been in public safety and law enforcement for 30 years. I run a nonprofit called the No Hate Zone. I have unionized the city of Portland Park Rangers. Probably the only candidate who's actually unionized city workers or workers. I've organized Breaking Bread, Breaking Barriers, which are dinners that bring community and police together, specifically communities of color. So when I see a situation or an issue that's important, I look at the problem, I find a solution, and then I act. And that's one of the challenges, I think, because a lot of people don't know how to put the solution or the vision into action. And I've been able to do that, whether as a Human Rights Commissioner, the chair of the Community Police Relations Committee, working through the No Hate Zone, breaking bread, breaking barriers, bringing people together. I also lobbied the city, county, and state legislation to adopt policies that are still in place today that require the interviewing of minority, women, and people with disability when hiring for leadership positions. So I've done a lot of this work already. It's what I do in my life, and I have what I like to call receipts. I have a record of accomplishments and work that I think show that I can do this job, and that's how I approach things.
How can the city best support visionary public-private community projects?
Again, I think it's safety, safety, safety. We have to make the city safe. We have to make those areas safe. We have to reach back into our history and our past and lift up voices and communities that have been marginalized and forgotten. Chinatown is not Chinatown anymore. The Chinese garden has to put up a fence to just exist. That's unacceptable. And we have to create a safe space. We have to lead with equity lens. We have to engage with communities of color and marginalized communities and voices, people, young people. And I think that's the best way to support a lot of these projects. The Lloyd Center, I don't know what's happening right now in the Lloyd Center because it seems like a ghost town. So it needs to be a priority. Again, we have to prioritize things, and then we have to actually put things into action. We can't continue to talk. We have to find solutions and work collaboratively to make those things happen. And I think we can if we have a priority to do them, and we lead with safety and, again, an equity lens.
Lightning round. What place in town that more people should know about?
I think Vancouver Williams, that area, and Dawson Park, and north and northeast, where I'm running for City Council in District 2. A lot of people have moved to Portland. I was born here. My family's been here since the 1940s. I remember the north and northeast Portland, the neighborhood, when there were, quite frankly, just more black people living there. And there's a deep history of culture and community there that a lot of people don't know about when they drive down Williams or Vancouver. A lot of people don't know the impact and the significance of Dawson Park, what it means to the black community, even though they've been displaced and gentrified. I think more people that live here should really know the history of the city that they live in and the significance of certain landmarks and parks and what it was before gentrification, and how do we bring some of that back and lift up that history. And I'd like to see that area in Portland be a destination for people of color.
If you could wave a magic wand to make one thing happen in Portland, what would you do?
I would make it a place for people of color. I would make it a destination place where black people feel like they belong and that they can exist and they can thrive, they can own a business, that they can buy a house, and that we would follow through on our commitment, on our promises to not only the black community, but the communities of color, because we have failed miserably to do that. And if I had a magic wand, I would want everybody to feel that and live together in harmony. But the reality is there's two different Portlands. There's Portland for white people who are 70% of the population, and then there's a Portland that's for black and people of color that don't have that same experience or feeling. And I would want them to have the same feeling and that I have as a white male in this city.
What is a single word you would want to use to describe Portland in 30 years?
A destination. A destination. We were a pioneer. Oregon and Portland pioneers came across the country to be here and to settle here. I want Portland, again, I want it to be a destination spot for people, but mainly for people of color to feel like this is a place where they belong.
Where do you get your coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
What restaurant or food cart is totally underrated?
Well, I don't know if it's underrated, but again, it's like a lot of people that aren't from here forget Montage. They forget the restaurant that used to be under the bridge that we would all go to, after being out all night or just, 2 a.m. in the morning, you got hungry, you go to Montage. And it's still at the Asylum over on Hawthorne. There's a Asylum food carts. And so the food is fantastic. I don't know if it's underrated, but I think maybe underappreciated, and maybe a lot of people don't know about it because the restaurant's closed, but it's fantastic. One of my favorite places to eat.
So now you know your candidate, or a bit about them. We like to thank the visionary candidates, also like to especially thank all the volunteers and organizations that put this together. We couldn't do this without you. To look at each candidate, be a good Portland citizen, and to be a dashing and informed voter, listen to XRAY FM to learn about ballots and the new ranked choice voting system, and check out portlandpossible.org.